Hey guys, thank you for stopping in. Sorry this video is taking so long to get out to you. I've been pretty busy. I got a lot of personal shit going on, and then I was having some computer problems, and I'm not even 100% sure I'm going to edit this video. So I'm going to try to get this together as quickly as possible for you, okay? Ready? This is video number 4. This is going to be covering heaters and air pumps. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just dive on in. But before we do that, if you have any questions with anything I'm about to say, or you are in this process yourself of kind of setting up a new tank and are new at the process and the hobby and all that fun stuff, go ahead and click the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and like I said, if you have any questions, post them below. I pay attention to that, and I will try to help you if I can. We'll start off with air pumps. As you can see, I have everything kind of pulled out and all twisted around and going all goofy and stuff like that. I do it intentionally for these guys to give them different environments. The reason we're using air bubbles, aside from something like the sponge filter, which we already discussed, is to do a number of things. One, we want to break the water at the top. This kind of helps prevent a biofilm, helps keep the air-water exchange going, and the traveling through the water and breaking at the surface also helps to increase the dissolved oxygen in the tank. Now, you are not necessarily required to have a pump. You aren't necessarily required to have one type of air stone or diffuser over another, but it is beneficial to have. It will help the circulation in your tank. So like strategically for me, I like putting them along the back as a wall bubble. This creates circular flow going this way in the tank a little bit, and that's complemented by my spray bar setups as they blow upwards at a 45-degree angle. So that's the way I typically like to use them. I would advise keeping them away from intakes of hob filters, canister filters, any kind of sump systems. I didn't cover sumps, so if you're doing sumps and you're watching my videos, I don't know what the hell is going on, but anyway, so yeah, it's not rocket science. You're pushing air into your water tank to kind of help facilitate the natural processes that would occur. More planted aquariums do not require the oxygen bubbles the same way, but I personally would tell you, have at least a sponge filter going or one kind of air something in there to just be a redundancy to help you out, to facilitate water movement, all of those good things. As far as hooking it up is concerned, it's very, very easy. I got all these wires going everywhere so everybody can see them. If it's above the water line, like this, you can put it directly into the tank, and you do not need to have a check valve. Check valves come in a bunch of different forms, but they basically only allow things to flow one way. See how it's got a duct lip? If I spun that around and tried to push any water or air this way, it's going to resist it a lot because there's a little slit in between there. That's allowing air to come through this way, but it won't allow water to pass through, or at least it'll stop 99.9% of it. This just happens to have it because obviously it's a reroute. There's a story behind why this is all goofy. We're not going into that today. You can also get a control valve. They come in metal or plastic. You can also get, like, if you were to get one of those big piston air pumps, they come with like gang valves, which is just a one-in multi-out thing. Think of it like a cable splitter, right? As far as brands are concerned, I'm a big fan of the Aquatop Brezza AP50 and AP100. That's a single outlet and dual outlet pump. I also like the Tetra 150. Now, it's only a single outlet pump, but it produces a lot of air pressure at depth. So I found if I split this into single outlet into two and run it in my 55, which is my deepest tank, it operates as if it has two outlets, maybe even better than as if it has two outlets, because it's pushing all of the air you see on this whole side of the tank. Everything from here all the way over. And I know it's hard to see this stuff because of the way the lighting is, but that's a boatload of air coming up through this tank. It's a very good device. The ones lower than it their diaphragms tend to break. That's just been my experience. So that's that. That's air pumps, guys. It's not rocket science. Super easy. Drop it in there. You can even do something like this. It'll be fine. You know, water feature. Heaters. So the rule of thumb for heaters, I believe, it's been a long time since I've looked it up, is something like 3 to 5 watts per gallon in your tank. What I've found is that if you have a heater that says this can handle 20 to 40 gallons, 20 gallons is a good target to put that heater into. Just aim for the lower number, right? I follow that rule of thumb also with the canister filters. Any other filter for that matter. Water flow is pretty important with heaters. So if you notice, this is a fixed thermostat heater. It's going to try to heat the water up to about 77, 78 degrees at all times. My canister outflow is blowing right over top of it so that it doesn't have any stagnant water or hot spots, and it distributes the heat really well. That's the least effective trick I use. The most effective trick I use, which I use in several places, is to have a part of the outlet and the intake in the same spot. So this is another canister, and here the spray bar is pushing up at a 45-degree angle, but on this side it's pushing down through a few holes. And what this is doing is making sure that the heater is constantly having flowing water around it, no hot spots, no inaccurate readings of temperature. And then that intake takes a percentage of that heat and then redistributes it throughout the tank. Yeah, there's a little bit of recirculation of water, but that's not a problem. That happens a lot, especially in hop filters, which, right down here's a hop filter. Ooh, got to clean that guy off. It keeps on blowing those, meh. So we got the intake right here. The outflow is obviously right above it, creating a little bit of recirculation, and this is kind of helping to keep water circulating on the other side. I actually disconnected the air pump on this for a short while when I was redoing this, and when I rehooked it up, its flow rate went down significantly. So I think the felt material inside got super saturated, and it's probably got a little bit of buildup on it. So I'm gonna have to take it out and clean it real quick to get that pressure back. There's another one right there near the intake, outflow. Same kind of trick. The bubbler's on a different area than everything else, but it's circulating. Same trick over here. This is my favorite heater, Fluval E-Series. Part of the reason this video is a little late is because I've been trying to get in touch with them. I finally heard back. Guys, it's not discontinued, despite the fact I haven't been able to find it in months. The issue is that it's out of stock, according to them. And once it's back in stock, they'll be available. Good luck. But yeah, I love this one. Same trick. You can see all the holes up on top on this, and then all of a sudden you don't see them blowing down onto it. Both intakes for both the canisters pulling up, making sure the flow is going this way on the back side, making sure the flow is going this way on the top side, creating a circular flow and evenly heating the tank. I used to have a temperature reader over here, and they were always within like 0.1 of each other. So this trick works very, very well. As far as like style of heater, stuff like that, almost everything's going to be glass. Almost everything's going to have either a fixed setting or a manual dial knob. I like digital settings. That's my personal thing. I like having protective cases around it because some fish like to be close to the heat and I don't want them burning themselves. These are just things that I prefer, the way that I prefer them. As far as like putting 2 different heaters in a tank, you can do that, but heaters every electronic device works on cycles if it's an on-off device. So light bulbs, every time you flick your switch, you're eating a bit of its life away. If you flick it on, it'll run for years and years and years. But if you stand there and do this, within a couple of days, you're going to blow that bulb out, no problem. So that's the way that the heaters work as well. They detect a temperature within a range. As soon as that range gets to the low, they turn on. They heat up past your ideal temperature to a range. Once they hit, like, say, a degree above what it wants, it'll shut off, and that's how it runs. Digital heaters can narrow that down and keep your window much more accurate. And what I found with this trick, identically laid out in multiple setups, with the digital thermostats, like a quality digital thing, and very good flow circulation throughout the tank, it doesn't necessarily click on any more than any of the other heaters, and it keeps the temperature window tighter. So it's up to you what you want to go with. This just recently went out of spec. It's a year old. I've had these little guys for the same amount of time, and I got one in there as well, obviously, and I have not had that problem. That is the same brand down there. I've had it for about half as long. It's still working fine, but now I'm nervous. So yeah, I mean, heaters you want to be cautious with. It's advisable to always unplug them when you go hands in on your tank. I don't do that, but I probably should, especially now. Um, yeah, just follow the label on the box. Same for the small thing. Make sure the smaller side of the volume it says it can handle. Make sure there's good circulation around it, and you should be just fine. All in all, just keep an eye on it. Monitor temperatures. You can get one of these things in like a 2-pack on Amazon for like $10. It's really handy to have. Just sink it in there somewhere and keep an eye on it. So I think I covered everything I wanted to. I'm sorry this isn't an edited video. Normally it would be tightened down to be a bit more concise, but oh well. So anyway, thank you for stopping in. Like I said before, if you have any questions, comment below. If you liked what you saw, or you have use for this information or know somebody else who does, click subscribe, click the share button, shoot it out to them, and I will see you guys in the next video.